Welcome back, everybody. It's a brand new episode of 5 Minute Majors. I'm your host, Derek Harper. Let's dive right into it. The CHL saw numerous players drafted this year for a total of 88 on the year. This is the 17th out of the last 20 years that they have seen over 80 players selected in the NHL draft. And the big part of that came from the Western Hockey League. They had nearly 39%. The exact percentage, 38.6 of the CHL's players came from the WHL this year, 34 players in total. 4 from the Medicine Hat Tigers and 3 each from the Spokane Chiefs, Prince George Cougars, and Everett Silvertips. The Spokane Chiefs saw Berkeley Catton selected. He is now under the Seattle Kraken. as far as his rights. Congratulations to him. So he doesn't even have to leave the state unless they, for some reason, trade him. We'll see what happens with the Kraken as they look to kind of retool things and go compete in the playoffs this next season, I would assume. But as they took a sort of a downturn last year, but the WHL just produces talent like that day in and day out. I mean, we look at Cody Glass from past years, Nino Niederreiter, Ryan Johansson, Derek Pouliot. I mean, the list could really go on. In the QMJHL, I mean, we've seen Nathan MacKinnon come out of there. We've seen Sidney Crosby come out of there. The OHL has produced numerous legends as well. But one player that really stood out this year, selected 6th overall by the Utah Hockey Club, the former Arizona Coyotes. And right now, it is thought that they will only remain as Utah Hockey Club for 1 year as they look to expand their brand and figure out what they want to do for their brand exactly. Possibly the Utah Yetis, that may have been leaked. We'll see if that is what actually becomes of them. But Tej Iginla, you're probably wondering, that name sounds very familiar. Yes, the son of Hall of Famer Jerome Iginla, Calgary Flames legend. His son Tej, congratulations to him, 6th overall, Utah's inaugural selection of their NHL existence. The WHL wrapped up the first round of the NHL draft with the Prince George Cougars. Forward Tarek, excuse me if I butcher this, Parashak, I believe that's my guess. He was selected 17th overall by the Washington Capitals. Congratulations to him. But this year, we have seen, I mean, just numerous players. It seemed like every time I turned on my phone, just another player selected from the WHL. I mean, it's just incredible. The 17th year out of the last 20 that we have seen over 80 players selected from the CHL, which is pretty incredible. I mean, 88 this year just goes to show the talent in the CHL. And the WHL also broke records. They had 4 players selected in the top 10 this year, and then they added a 5th in the top 20. This was a world record. This was a record for players selected from any developmental league in the world. That's pretty darn good. I mean, you just look at the quality. Unfortunately, the Portland Winterhawks didn't have anybody selected this year, but that should motivate them even harder to go after the championship next year and just show what they're made of as they look to hopefully get players selected in the future. I don't see this being a very big downtime for them. I think it's just a bit of a retool. I think they're still a very good contender out in the Western Conference of the WHL. The Wenatchee Wild obviously building up. They had some selections in the import draft on Wednesday, July 3rd, as did the other teams in the CHL. We'll examine those and really dive into that over the next few weeks, and we'll look at prospects that could help teams with how they did in their bantam careers or their overseas careers in whatever developmental league that they played in before. But it's just incredible that the WHL this year had nearly 39%, a total of 38.6% of the CHL's players selected. And the records that they broke. I mean, we look at the Prince George Cougars, the Kelowna Rockets, the Everett Silvertips, the Spokane Chiefs. All those clubs had 3 players selected. But you got to tip your hat to the Eastern Conference rather this year. The Medicine Hat Tigers had 4 players selected, including Caden Lindstrom, who is off to the Columbus Blue Jackets, who they have had former WHL players as well, and Ryan Johansson. So congratulations to him, and it just goes to show that the NHL and some of its clubs really value the WHL and the players that they produce. Medicine Hat also saw, since we can focus on them a little bit, Thomas Mercick. He went to St. Louis, and Hunter St. Martin to the Florida Panthers. Andrew Basha, selected 41st overall by the Calgary Flames. A lot of Calgary kids up there these days. The Wenatchee Wild in their BCHL days and WHL days, they've seen players go to Calgary and other places in the league. They've had a goalie that's now in the San Jose system, so we'll see what becomes of that until next week and next